This is the Kevin Trudeau Show.
I am exposing the corruption in government and in major multinational corporations. We're telling you the things that they don't want you to know that will make your life better.
Hey, Kevin Trudeau here. Yes. A big studio audience. The hyped-in laughter, applause. Don't we love that? We love that. We have to get a laugh track, too. That way when I say a funny joke, instead of just William over here trying to hold in his laughter, we'll actually have some fake studio piped-in laughter. We have a great show today. Thanks for joining me. If you haven't caught the other shows, they are life-changing. I mean, really. I'm providing you information that very few people in the world know that can improve the quality of your life. And if you watch the shows, hey, they're funny, they're entertaining, and you're getting information that if you apply it, will change your life for the better. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you share this show with your friends. Make sure you leave a comment. And I just found out that the magical algorithm also works on if you comment on somebody else's comment. So not only go there and write a comment, but read somebody else's comment and comment on their comment. That helps the algorithm. Look, we have a lot of great things here, and I was informed, I wasn't consulted, I was informed that we're going to stop broadcasting 2 shows a week. Did you guys hear that? I heard that. It's like everybody wants me to do more work. I mean, I'm retired, man. I know this stuff. I don't have to be here. So I was informed that, Kevin, if you really want to get these numbers up, and if you really want to help people improve the quality of their life, Kevin, put the guilt trip on me. You got to do at least 2 shows a week. So in the next couple of weeks, we'll start broadcasting 2 shows a week. And then I was informed, and then you also have to do daily audio podcasts that we can put up on Spotify and so forth. And it was just this great meeting that we had to increase my workload. I was really thrilled with that. But listen, I'll do this as long as those numbers go up. So you need to subscribe, share this, comment, and comment on the comments. You need to get people to join this show, share it with everybody, because if the numbers aren't going up in the next few months, look, like I said, I know this stuff. I'm not doing it for my health. I'm not doing it for my ego. I know it. You know, most of the people doing podcasts, either they're so desperate for attention and they want to be relevant. Their ego is so desperate to be loved and needed and acknowledged. That's why they do this stuff, quite frankly. I mean, I know most of these guys. I mean, that's the reason they do it. It's just ego-driven. They have to be relevant. I don't care. Like I said, I live a very beautiful, happy, healthy life. Today we have an amazing show. I told you last week that I was going to be Guru Kev this week. There's 3 major topics I will be talking about on this show. And if I get time, I will take some calls. I don't know if I'll have time for calls. But I'm going to talk about how, but most importantly, not just how, but why should you meditate? Nobody's teaching it. I can't find anybody out there that even knows what the heck meditation is. There are all these fantasies about guided visualization, but it's not meditation. There are real specific quantifiable benefits to meditation. So I'm going to talk about the major benefits and why people like Jerry Seinfeld and many, many other billionaires always keep it hidden, that the fact that they meditate on a regular basis, but they use the proper technique. And I'm going to talk about that. That in itself, I mean, you could spend $5,000 going to a meditation school and you're not going to learn what I'm going to teach you, because I lived in a cave, if you know, in Tibet. Yeah, but I'll talk about that. I'm also going to talk about the greatest kept money-making secret of all time on this episode, which you just haven't heard of. I mean, you could read 10,000 books on money-making secrets and how to create wealth, and not one of them will tell you this is the #1 most important technique or missing ingredient. And I will share that with you today for free. Then I'm also going to talk about the steps. There's just a few of them, like 5 steps, so that you can be really happy every single day. You can live in bliss. You can not be affected by external situations. It doesn't matter what happens exteriorly or outside of you or to you, what people do to you or don't do to you or say to you or don't say to you, or what conditions you're dealing with, or what catastrophes or disasters or whatever. It doesn't matter. You can still have inner joy, peace, and happiness. Heck, you could be in prison for 8 years and still wake up feeling the most blissful and happy person in the world, the most grateful and appreciative. But there are some techniques, and I'm going to share that with you today. So I am going to be, oh, by the way, I also will give you my movie reviews, 2 spectacular movies, and I'll talk about the books as well. But I am, as promised, going to be Guru, Kevin Trudeau Guru. Now, a lot of people don't know that I've studied with gurus since the 60s. I'm old. Since the 60s, I've studied with spiritually enlightened beings, perfected masters, you can call them, self-realized masters. I met Swami Muktananda in the 70s and received Shaktipat. I've studied with under Yogananda. He had passed on, but through self-realization fellowship. I met Krishnamurti in Ojai, California. I've met other gurus and also studied Aurobindo and other gurus that had passed away, Sai Baba, etc., etc. All right. Most of them are mystics from the East, India primarily, because that's really the guru, right? They wear the Indian outfit. But I lived in a cave for 7 months, isolated. So I have a little bit of knowledge and understanding of this, which I very rarely have shared. And I'm still not going to share much of it with you today about my journey. But when you kind of are in this enlightened place or whatever, sometimes people think, yeah, the guy's in a suit and tie. He can't be like, spiritually aware. I mean, he should be, looking like, long gray hair and looking like a bum or something like that, reading a book on yoga or something and look in this, blissful meditative state or something. Do we have a picture of a guy who actually fits that description? Do we have? Yeah, let's run that picture. So you may think a guru looks something like this. Reading a book on yoga, looking like a guru. Who is that guy? I don't know. All right, get rid of that picture. I don't know who that guy is. But I'm Kevin Trudeau Guru. So we're going to talk about, some of you are like, is that an AI-generated picture? Who was that masked man? There's a lot you don't know, my friends. All right, so let's talk about why to meditate and how to meditate. It's the easiest thing in the world, and the benefits are off the charts. There's actually a great book called Strength in Stillness, The Power of Transcendental Meditation by Bob Roth. Very small little book, which talks about some of the benefits. And probably the most researched type of meditation is the TM movement, Transcendental Meditation. They have a big community in Fairfield, Iowa, which is where I shot my very first infomercial back in 1989. I shot that in Fairfield, Iowa. And I actually have a copy of that. Somebody found it, and I'm actually going to put that up on something. But the very first TV infomercial I did was filmed in Fairfield, Iowa in a meditation community because the energy there was so high vibration. And I knew that this was the place to film it to create massive success, which we did. Mega Memory went on to sell $450 million worth of Mega Memory home study courses on various infomercials. The first one I shot and several others. I believe a lot of it had to do with the fact of the energy vortex that we shot that show in. It was one take, by the way. I went up there, spoke for about an hour. It was done. We just edited it together. It was over. There wasn't retakes or anything. Nobody could believe it. I just went up there. So when you watch that, you'll see that someday. But there are benefits and powerful benefits from meditation. First off, if you meditate, you are probably not meditating. You think you're meditating, but you're not meditating. So I'm going to explain that. But let me talk about first the benefits of meditation. If you meditate, one of the first things that happen, or the first benefits, is physiological. And this is quantifiable. Transcendental meditation has done a huge amount of research on the physiological, quantifiable, scientifically quantifiable, and measurable results of people that use transcendental meditation. That includes lower blood pressure. It also includes better digestion, less constipation. It also includes balancing of the hormones in the body. For men, this can result in increased testosterone. Because the hormones are balanced, you will also balance out your emotions. So there's a physiological effect, but there's also an emotional component as well when you meditate. So balancing of the hormones, which can result in increased testosterone in men, better health in all people, but also a stabilization of your emotions. Better sleep always improves. Better sleep. There are other physiological benefits as well. Brain, serotonin in the brain goes up. So the ability to concentrate because of the physiological changes in the brain because you're meditating goes up. The ability to focus. Now let's talk about the emotional components. Harder to quantify because you're not looking at real scientific testing like blood work. The physiological ones are 100% accurate all the time. Matter of fact, in Harvard and cardiac, heart, medical schools around the world now, heart surgeons are telling people, meditate, it will reduce stress because they know it will improve your health and reduce the likelihood of you having a heart attack or stroke. Without drugs. So there's all the physical benefits. Now we have the emotional benefits. Less stress, less anxiety. You are calmer. You can focus more. Your concentration goes up. Your emotions are stable. You don't get triggered very easy. So anger goes down. Depression and sadness lessens dramatically. Now, this is all empirical research that have been done by PhDs and professional researchers at universities around the world. Even though it's harder to quantify, scientific research methods prove that this is absolutely true. These are the benefits you get when you meditate, all these emotional benefits. The ability to communicate also goes up. You hear people, you empathize with people, you're more compassionate. These all go up. This is a dramatic improvement. So when we say depression or sadness goes down, what does that also mean? Happiness and joy goes up. You have an increase in enthusiasm, motivation, and inspiration. And again, this is all quantifiable, research. Relationships get better. Now, there are some other benefits as well, which are on what we call the collective. Research is clear and absolutely 100%. When there's groups of people that meditate together in communities, the crime rates in those communities go down dramatically. We also know that accidents, car accidents, which is one of the easiest ones to measure, goes down dramatically. We also notice that the number of people going to emergency rooms goes down dramatically. Now, when I was in prison, and Donnie French just told this story at our latest Global Information Network event, because he was there, I taught a class on meditation, and about half of the inmate population went, which surprised everybody. And I taught the technique on how to meditate. and why, just like I'm explaining it to you. Almost everybody who was there started. Some stopped, some carried on. The effects in the prison were absolutely 100% tangible. The officers give what's called incident reports to inmates who break the rules. We call them a shot. You got a shot. It's an incident report or a disciplinary action. After the meditation class, the number of disciplinary actions went down like this. I mean, it fell off like a cliff. It just almost dropped to zero. And it stayed that way as the people were meditating. The energy in the inmate population radically changed. It was unbelievable. The officers came up to me and said, what type of hypnotic spell did you put on everybody? Like, everybody's changed. I go, no, they're changing from the inside out. When you change the inside, the outside changes. As within, so without. This is how it works. You change the inside first. Everybody wants to change the outside. They all want to change their conditions. My spouse is I want them to stop doing this. They go to counseling, and it's always about the other person. They're not clean. They don't clean up. The Jerry Springer show. Why are you breaking up with her? She's dirty. She yells at me. She doesn't do this. She doesn't do that. Oh, so if she changed all those things, then she'd be okay? Yeah. Has nothing to do with the other person. Has to do with you. Work on yourself first. Work on the inside. The external conditions are a reflection of what's going on in the inside of you. Your situations in life, the interactions you have with other people, your income, it's all a reflection of what's going on inside. You change that first, and then the external conditions change. Think about that. You have to change the inside first, and then the external conditions catch up. Same thing with money. I remember when I was I met a guy back in 1979, very wealthy fellow who had a positive, upbeat attitude. He was driving a Rolls Royce, had a handmade suit on, all this, Rolex watch and diamond rings and everything. And I said to him, well, if I had your money, I'd have your attitude too. And he almost wanted to punch me in the nose. He could just say how that infuriated him. And didn't infuriate him because I offended him. It infuriated him because he, out of love, wanted me to succeed. And he knew that with that attitude, I would not succeed. And so he really zapped me with that look. And he says, no. He says, the money doesn't give you the attitude. The attitude gives you the money. You have to have the attitude of a rich person when you're flat broke and you can't pay your bills. And you have to maintain that attitude week after week, month after month, and sometimes year after year before the money catches up. But you have to have the attitude first, because the attitude gives you the money never gives you the attitude. If you get money, like hit the lottery, and don't have the right attitude, what happens? 98% of all lottery winners go bankrupt. Think about that. So external situations will start changing in your life when you meditate. This is a benefit of meditation, because when you start meditating, you're effectively clearing out what's on the inside. You're changing the inside first, and your relationships will get better. Jobs improve. Income goes up. Living conditions improve. Standard of living and quality of life in all the research gets better with people who meditate, as if by magic. Does it sound good? And then we look at guys like Jerry Seinfeld, who said he would have never become as successful as he did if he didn't meditate. And he meditated every day for 20 minutes. And he didn't realize that if he meditated twice a day, he said, man, I didn't know that the exponential benefit of meditating twice a day for 20 minutes, once in the morning, once in the late afternoon. He says, if I had known that, he goes, I'd probably still be on TV, man. There is power with releasing the negative programs within you. And meditation is a technique that's been around for, thousands and thousands of years. You go back into the Bhagavad Gita, which is part of the Mahabharata, or the Mahabharata, the Indian text. And it talks about meditation. Nobody knows when that was written, by the way. I mean, it's written thousands of years ago, but there's a lot of evidence it was written 10,000 or more years ago, or the stories actually are 100,000 years old. That's another show. I will be doing a show on aliens and the real history of the planet, which will blow your mind. I'll be doing that in the future. But the benefits of meditation have been talked about for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. However, in many ancient cultures, the power of doing a proper meditative technique for just 20 minutes, and you still get benefit, by the way, if you do it for 5 minutes or 10, but let's say 20 minutes. The power, the benefits a person gets is so powerful that this was always what the priests and the privileged elite kept to themselves. Many people don't know that the Knights Templar were all meditators. I mean, the ancient texts kept it hidden, but there is absolute empirical evidence that this was one of the techniques that they kept to themselves because it was so effective. And they wanted to maintain that power and control by using this technique. Maintaining happiness, joy, peace within, being able to deal with adversity easier and effortlessly, having dramatically reduced stress and anxiety, living in bliss and peace, regardless of what the external conditions are, et cetera, and all the other both health benefits, biological, physical health benefits, emotional benefits, and condition benefits that you get from meditating. At this point, if you're not thinking, this sounds like a good deal, shut the show off. I mean, what are you looking for? I know what you're looking for. Some of you are saying, Kevin, just give me a pill. I just want to take a pill and feel better. I mean, my psychiatrist tells me to take this pill. And if it doesn't work, guess what? He gives me another one to take on top of it. And if that doesn't work, I get a third. I've seen so many people that are depressed that are on 3 or 4 prescription psychiatric medications. I mean, the drug company's got a racket. They give you a pill that doesn't do anything, and you buy another one. Talk about brainwashing. Hi, doctor. Yeah, I'm taking that psychiatric medication you told me, and I just want to kill myself every day. Oh, you need another one. A different one you add to it. Oh, good, I'll do that. Doctor, this isn't working. I feel worse than I did before. You need to take a third one. Okay, doctor. What are you, the dumbest guy on the planet? I mean, that's like the guy who bought some subliminal tapes. Listened to him, went back to the guy, and he said, I bought these subliminal tapes last week, but they didn't do anything. But for some reason, I'd like to buy 10 more. I mean, right? I mean, if you take something and it doesn't work, why are you even listening to this clown? Okay. So how do you meditate? Very simple. So I'm going to go through the Reader's Digest version, and many of you don't even know what that is because you've never heard of or read the Reader's Digest. I'm too old. I think every time I say something, I'm going, they don't even know what I'm talking about. This, right? Trey, you ever heard of the Reader's Digest? No, he's over there. He's shaking his head now. Oh, God help me. All right, so we have to now start doing education on some of my old analogies. Okay, so I'm going to give you a summary, a short version. That's what the Reader's Digest was, by the way. They had a big book, and the Reader's Digest version is they would take kind of excerpts of the book and crunch it down to about 1/3, so you could still kind of feel like you read the whole book without spending all that time. That was the Reader's Digest. Anyway, okay, so I'm going to give you a quick summary. And that's not the entire How to Meditate course, but I'll just give you a quick summary. All right, so number 1, when do you meditate? The answer, any time. There is no right or wrong. So never make up an excuse. Oh, I missed my meditation time. No, you can meditate anytime. Is there a best time? Ideal scene? Yes. Ideal scene is in the morning before breakfast, after you wake up. So wake up, go to the bathroom, wash your face. That's probably a good time. It doesn't matter if you have some coffee or tea before or after, drink some water. Ideally, in the morning is a very good time. But remember, any time works. The second time that's very effective is late in the afternoon before dinner. This way you can reduce the stress. When you meditate in the morning, it energizes you, helps you focus, and produces a spectacular winning day for you. Wouldn't you like to have a winning day every day? I'd go to Vegas and they put me up in all these, mega mansions over there. 5,000, 10,000 square feet mansions with pools in the living room that you could fit 20 people in. I mean, a big swimming pool, grand pianos and magnificent mansions. And they would put me up for free. And every day when the butlers would come and they would feed me and the chefs would come in and they would cook for me and so forth, they'd always leave. Everybody was trained to leave by saying, Mr. Trudeau, have a winning day. And I'd say, I have a winning day every day. Every day's a winning day. I remember I was talking to Zig Ziglar one time when he said, I wake up in the morning, Kevin, and I say, it's a great day. And I says, but is every day a great day, Zig? He goes, well, just try missing one of them. Yeah, it's a good day. I woke up. So anytime you can meditate, ideally in the morning before breakfast, ideally in the afternoon before dinner. If you meditate in the morning, it helps produce a winning great day. When you meditate in the afternoon before dinner, it reduces stress and gives you a beautiful evening with your family. Because many times we come back from work or after a long day and we're stressed out, and that kind of rubs off on our spouse, our family, our partner. It's just not good because we're dealing with all that pent-up stress and things that happened during the day. So when you come back at the end of the day and you meditate, it clears it all and it sets up a beautiful, wonderful, balanced, lovely energy between you and the people that you're living with. Friends, family, loved ones, dogs, cats, fish, pet snakes. Anything you have there, they'll love you more because your energy was all cleaned up. So that's when do you meditate. How often should you meditate? As often as you want. Once a week, once a day, 3 times a week, on occasion, it doesn't matter. Meditating in any amount at any time is better than not meditating. So it doesn't matter. It's like exercise. It doesn't matter. I don't care if you do it once a month. It's better than doing it 0 a month. Okay, what's the ideal? Ideal is twice a day. In the morning, after you wake up, before breakfast, and in the afternoon, before dinner. That's the ideal. But at the end of the day, realistically, you're going to do that 7 days a week. I've been doing this my whole life, since the 60s. But who's going to be doing that? So don't force yourself to be fanatical. Just do the best you can. That's the ideal. Every day, 7 days a week, twice a day. That's the ideal, but it doesn't matter. Next, how long should you meditate in each session? Well, I will give you some parameters here. The ideal is 20 minutes. If you really want to get fanatical, you can go 30 minutes, 45 minutes, or an hour, but you really don't need to. The benefits past 20 minutes are incrementally smaller. So you really don't need a lot more than 20 minutes, unless you're trying to reach some extremely high states. And this is the only thing you're doing in order to get to those states. So realistically, 20 minutes is your ideal amount of time. 10 minutes is beautiful. 5 minutes is great. 2 minutes is fantastic. 1 minute is good. Yes, you get benefit even with 1 minute of doing the technique. So a minimum of 1 minute, and I would say a maximum of 20. And what's the ideal? 20 minutes really is the ideal scene. But don't force yourself to do 20 minutes. Start with 5 minutes, maybe move up to 15 minutes or 10 minutes, and then, work your way up to 20, or maybe you'll never get there. It doesn't matter. So that's how much time. Next, where should you meditate? And the answer is anywhere. Jerry Seinfeld said that he would meditate in the back of a cab in New York City. Not a quiet, peaceful place, but that's where he would meditate because that's when he had the opportunity to do so. So you can meditate anywhere, whether there's people around, whether there's noise. I mean, think about it. In the old days, people would meditate in the wilderness, and there's noise. They don't have earplugs in. When Krishna was meditating, or Sri Ram was meditating in India, they were outside. Well, there's birds and there's things and there's noise and there's the river and there's the waterfall and there's a lot of noise. So you don't have to be in this, sensory deprivation tank. That's not the case. There can be noise. If you're in your house and the air conditioning unit is going on and off, or maybe in the other room some kids are screaming or whatever, it's okay. So the point is you can meditate anywhere. Where is the ideal place to meditate? Ideally, it's either you're alone or you're at a center with other people meditating. Those are the two ideal places. So ideally, if you're in your house, you go to a room, shut the door. And it's okay if there's noise, obviously everybody's house is different. It's not going to be, you don't need earplugs, and I don't recommend them. But you can meditate anywhere, ideally. Now, somebody says, well, should I set up a certain meditation place, like with a rug and a pillow and an altar with some candles and incense? You certainly can. This is called a sacred space. And a lot of people set these up. Not required at all, but it's perfectly okay if that's something you're led to do. I never set one of those things up, just so you know. So I meditate anywhere. Now, some people set up a specific place in their house. This is where I'm going to meditate. Here's my little pillow I'm going to sit on, etc. So the point is you can meditate anywhere. Next, how should you sit when you meditate? The answer is it doesn't matter. I don't recommend lying down, because if you lie down, there's a good chance you'll fall asleep. Now you're not meditating. You're resting, which is really good, but you're not meditating. So ideally, any comfortable position. Now this is critical, because don't think you have to sit on the floor in some lotus cross-legged position, because guess what? For 99% of you, that's not comfortable. So don't do that. You don't think you have to be a guru. Sit in a chair, probably the most comfortable thing. Does it matter if my legs or ankles are crossed or not? No, just sit like this. I'm pretty comfortable. I can sit here for 20 minutes. So make sure you're in a comfortable position. Sitting in a chair is wonderful. If you want to sit on the floor with your back to the wall, that's fine. If you want to sit on the floor on a pillow, that's fine. But it doesn't matter. You can have your legs straight out, you can cross them, it doesn't matter. Just make sure you're comfortable. Now, ideally, you want your back, your spine, a little bit straight, as opposed to this. So that's your ideal, but it doesn't really matter. It's a little bit better if you have a straight spine and you're sitting on your sit bones. So when you sit, I'll give you a little trick. You take your hand and you put it under your butt cheek and you pull. So you pull your butt cheek out on both sides, and then you'll notice you're sitting on your sit bones. And your spine automatically gets straighter. And you're like, that's amazing. It's like magic. When I would teach yoga, I would always say that. Take your hand and do this. Everyone's like, oh my God, I feel so much better. No kidding. Guys would say, my lower back pain went away. Yeah, because that sets you up to sit properly. Okay, but most importantly, get in a comfortable position. Next, what if I'm sitting there and I feel like I have to move, like I have to move my legs or something like that because they're no longer comfortable? I'm sitting here right now. My legs are crossed. My ankles are crossed. What happens if I'm meditating and all of a sudden I want to change the position of my feet, which I just did? Perfectly okay, no problem. Okay. So now we're sitting And now comes the magic. That's like all the major questions, right? A couple other little questions that come up, by the way. Should I eat before? Ideally, no. You don't want to eat before, but you also don't want to be hungry because then your stomach's going to be going, and you're going to be thinking about food. So ideally, you don't want to like eat a big meal right before you meditate, but a couple hours before is fine. Should you drink something? You should always be hydrated. Forget about meditation. You should always be hydrated. That's always going to help. I would stay away from aspirin because that stops your ability to enter into the proper state. It actually keeps you less psychic. So stay away from aspirin. Pharmaceutical drugs are obviously, not good for anything except in rare instances. But don't change any pharmaceuticals that you prescribe without checking with your doctor first, of course. So now you're sitting. How do you meditate? The meditation is very simple. First and foremost, set a timer. If you have a watch with a timer, decide how long you're going to meditate. 5 minutes, set it for 5 minutes. 10 minutes, set it for 10 minutes. If you're going to meditate for 20 minutes, set it for 20 minutes. If you have a little clock, you don't want one that goes, when the time is up. Probably have one with a nice chime or some birds or something, or a little beeping, So set a timer. This way you don't have to wonder about how long you've been meditating. Decide how long you're going to meditate, 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever the number is, set your timer. Now you start meditating. How do you meditate? First off, last question that always gets asked, what do I do with my hands? Do I do this? People say like, do I do this? Some people, the answer is it doesn't matter. These, by the way, are called mudras. So it's the position, and technically they do recirculate energy in a certain way. There's many of them, and they're done for particular reasons. That's advanced. You don't have to worry about that right now. You can put your hands like this, on your thing, palms down. You can put them palms up. You can do that. It doesn't matter. You can put your hands together. You can do this and put your hands together. You can do this where the thumbs are touching, and you can do this. Left hand on top, right hand on top. There's a whole bunch of different reasons why you do each one. Thumbs touching, thumbs crossed, fingers together. None of it matters. That's advanced stuff. Don't even worry about it. Just sit comfortable. Here's how you meditate. First, let me define what meditation is, and then I'll give you the technique to meditate. Meditation is simply focusing on a singular point in space. That's all meditation is. It's focusing on a singular point in space. When you do that, all of the benefits that I described happen. Why do those benefits happen? Because when you do this, energy that is contracted within you starts to come to surface. So the analogy is, imagine that this is an ocean. This is the top of the ocean. And at the bottom, there's little bubbles of air trapped. And all of a sudden, you put a little device down there that kind of scrapes the bottom ocean floor and allow these trapped little bits of air to start releasing. So there's a bubble of air that starts coming. And when it gets to the surface, it pops. And it dissipates. It joins the rest of the air and becomes one with the air. These little bubbles are thoughts. They're energetic imprints. In the East, they're called samskaras. They're trapped energy, contracted energy that's vibrating at a very low frequency, not helping you in life. They're actually hindering you in life. So when you meditate, you're releasing these bubbles. And this is how you meditate. First, You can meditate with your eyes open by focusing on a point in space. The most common one is a candle flame. So you could sit in a room looking at a candle flame, or you could look at anything, a singular point, a leaf. I've gone into the woods and looked at a leaf and been into a meditative state instantly. And I know this because in my research, I would put brainwave monitors, all these things on your head. And with the researchers, I would show how fast I could get into theta. This is the state. There's different types of brainwave states, but I can move from beta to alpha to theta, delta. I can move my brain waves and also activate certain parts of the brain. And this has all been documented in scientific research. When you can control your mind, you have power in your life. You can't control your mind when you have all this samskaras activating, giving you uncontrollable, irrational emotions. So this is one of the reasons why this technique is very effective. And by the way, meditation is not the only way to release these, but it's a very simple, effective way. It doesn't cost you anything. So number one, you're always focusing on something. So you can focus on something with your eyes open. Most common is a candle flame. You could focus on the fire in a fireplace. You could focus on a leaf. You could focus on a tree. You could focus on the river going down if you're sitting by a creek and you're looking at the water or a little waterfall. You could focus on anything. You could focus on a rock. Anything at all you could focus on. Remember, you have to focus on something. And it's one thing, and that's all you focus on for the entire time that you're meditating. Next, you could also focus on a sound. You would do that with your eyes closed. So with your eyes closed, you can focus on a sound. And it could be the sound of the air conditioner, the sound of the fan, the sound of the waterfall. Could be any type of sound. You can focus on that as well. The third thing you can focus on with your eyes closed is your breath. This is the most common technique because it's the simplest and easiest. It's the most commonly used. Focusing on the breath. So with your eyes closed, you focus on the breath. When you breathe, you always breathe in and out through your nose only. And you breathe absolutely normally. You don't do this. And I've seen people do that in meditation. It's like, what the heck are you doing? That's a pranayama technique. That's not a meditation technique. When you're meditating, you're just normal. You're relaxed. So you breathe in and out through your nose. But again, you're not doing this. No, you're just breathing. You're just letting your body breathe as normal. You're not trying to count. You're not trying to breathe anything. You're just allowing your body to breathe. It knows how to breathe. So you sit and you focus on the breath. Where do you put your attention? You can put your attention at the nostril. So as you're inhaling, your attention is here. And as you exhale, the attention is here. That's one place of focus. The next focus is here. So as you inhale, your focus or attention is here. So you're focusing on the breath, but your attention is here. The next place you can focus is 2 inches below your belly button. So when you inhale, the stomach goes out slightly, and on the exhale, it comes in slightly. Those are the 3 basic areas of focus if you're going to use the breath. The last general technique of focus, because remember, the first thing you do when you meditate, after you're in a comfortable position and you're in your place, is to decide what you're going to focus on. So it's either something external that you see, a sound with your eyes closed, a breath, or the fourth one, which is the second most popular, is what's called a mantra. This is a sound that you repeat in your head silently. A mantra should not be something that makes sense to you. So it shouldn't be a phrase. So a mantra should not be like, I'm a winner, I'm a winner, I'm a winner. No, that's a phrase. That'll keep you thinking. You want a sound that is completely nonsensical. The most common sound of a mantra that is repeated in meditation is the sound Om. Now it's either pronounced A-U-M, Om, or O-M, Om. Depends on what region of the world that you're in. This is called the primordial sound, and it is in ancient texts talked about the first sound or the word in the Christian and Jewish Bibles. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God. It's a sound. It's the first sound, first primordial sound. And when you start going into elevated states and you cross the veil, that's the sound that you hear. That's the sound that permeates your entire being like you've never experienced before. So we know it's the primordial sound, and then right after that, when you're in the stillness and the oneness, there is no sound. It is complete static, and it is absolute bliss beyond human comprehension, and it is ineffable. But right before you hit that, you're completely encapsulated or enveloped in this sound, and it feels as a vibration that's permeating right down into your bones and into your soul. So a common mantra is Om or Aum, Om, Aum. You don't say it out loud, you just say it here. Any mantra, Sharim, is one used in transcendental meditation. There's 5 basic mantras in transcendental meditation. And there's other mantras. Om Namah Shivaya is used in Siddha Yoga. There are other ones as well. These are nonsensical sounds. Ideally, it's 2 syllables. Sharim, Aum. Those are 2 syllables. So ideally, it's a 2-syllable sound. You choose which one. If I had a recommendation for you, I would say the breath. Choose the breath and then choose where you're going to be focusing your attention. Once you make that choice, I would suggest you stay with that for as long as you want, at least several months before you try to change it. That's going to be helpful to you. So my suggestion would be pick closing your eyes and the breath and just decide whether you're going to focus here, here, or 2 inches below the belly button. That's my suggestion. You can pick whatever focal point you want. And once you pick one, I wouldn't change it. And some people are like, oh, today I'm gonna look at a flame, and then tomorrow I'm gonna do the Om, and then the next day I'm gonna breathe and put my attention on my 2 inches below my navel. Then I'm gonna look at a leaf, okay. It's better to pick one and kind of stay with it. So now you've chosen your focal point. So in this example, I'm gonna use the breath, and I'm gonna put my attention here in this example. So here's now how you meditate. It's really, 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 really easy because you don't have to do anything. You keep your face relaxed and you close your eyes and you're comfortable. And now all I'm doing is I'm focusing, in my particular example here, on my breath. Now, as you do this, at some point, you're going to realize you're no longer focusing here. You're going to realize at some point you're thinking thoughts. What am I going to have for lunch? What am I going to have for dinner? I got to make that phone call. You're going to be thinking something. Does this really work? Am I wasting my time? At some point, you're going to have awareness that you have thoughts. When that happens, and it should happen, and it will happen, do not be critical or upset with yourself or angry or frustrated. It's supposed to happen. You're supposed to have thoughts come up. Those are the bubbles that are coming up from the bottom of the ocean, getting ready to be transmuted and join into the oneness. People think meditation is to be still and eliminate all thoughts. That's not the objective. The objective is to do the technique and let it do its work. Let it do its magic. So you sit, and I'm focusing here on my breath. It inhales and it exhales. And at some point, it could be within seconds, could be within minutes, you don't know. I realize I'm having thoughts. You keep your face relaxed. There's no criticism, judgment, condemnation, or evaluation. All you do is you are aware that you're having thoughts. And when you are aware that you're having thoughts, in a complete state of neutrality, go back to focusing on the breath. And then at some point, it could be a few seconds later, or a minute, or 2 minutes, you're going to realize that you're having thoughts. And you may not even know how long you've been thinking thoughts, but you're going to realize you're having thoughts at some point. When you realize you're having thoughts, that is what's supposed to happen, that's what should happen, and that's what will happen. All you do is, in a state of neutrality, go back to focusing on the breath. And at some point, you're going to realize you're having thoughts. And when you realize you're having thoughts, you simply go back in a state of calm, peace, neutrality, and go back to focusing on the breath. And at some point, you're going to realize you're thinking thoughts. Keep your eyes closed. And at that point, in a complete state of neutrality, you simply go back to focusing on the breath. That's the drill. That's the process. That's the technique. And then at some point, your little alarm is going to go off. And when your alarm goes off, open up your eyes. Now, clearly, there's one place you should not meditate, and that is while you're driving. Because you have your eyes closed. Some people will get that one on the way home. All right. That's what you do. That's all you do. And then some people says, Kevin, I got this great guided meditation. No, you don't have a meditation. You have a guided visualization, which is fine, but it's not meditation. Close your eyes. Hi, I'm Guru Joe So, and I am going to give you this beautiful guided meditation that you paid $500 for, which is going to help you manifest all your goals, dreams, and desires. Yeah. So close your eyes. And what I want you to do is I'm going to take you on a journey to making all your dreams come true. Yeah. Now, if you really want to make your dreams come true, you'll need my accelerator guided visualization, which is $1,000. So you'll want to order that one right away. And then the guy tells you to go back, go on this elevator down, count to 10 backwards. That's hypnosis. Or they'll say, picture yourself in a safe space. It could be really somebody sweet. Hi, I'm really genuinely thinking this is great for everybody. And I give this away for free because I really want to help people because I'm so screwed up in my life. All I can think about is helping others. Okay. Yeah, all right, yeah. Everybody wants to help somebody else. I remember I was with Swami Muktananda, and there's all these insane basket cases that should be in a psychiatric ward of a hospital coming up. I really want to help people. That's all I want to do. And he's like, help yourself first. You're a mess. Stop trying to help others. You can't give what you don't got. And all these people want to give. I remember my friend Wayne Dyer, Dr. Wayne Dyer, great guy. He was a drunk. He was an alcoholic. And the guy was a manic depressive as well. So here he is teaching people about bliss and harmony while he's got a gun to his head with a bottle of booze calling me up. Kevin, what do you think I should do? All right, I pulled the trigger. And I'm kidding. He didn't have a gun to his head. I didn't tell him to pull the trigger. I didn't. But I'm being a little hyperbole here. But there's a lot of people out there that are a mess emotionally. And they can't control their emotions. They have out of control, irrational emotions. They're depressed, and they're trying to teach people how. I'm a success coach. Really? You live in the basement of your mother's house. How are you a success coach? Oh, I'm a life success coach. You're 80 pounds overweight. You get all these health problems, and you beat your children. I mean, I don't understand. How are you coaching other people? What are you telling them? The best way to beat the kid is I would take. You can't teach what you don't have. Make sense? So I'm going off a side note here about guided visualizations. And first off, I'm not suggesting that they're bad. They're not. They're lovely. Most people who do them, though, don't have any idea what the hell they're doing, quite frankly. And many of them, most of them, probably all of them, are very well-intentioned people who genuinely have a love and desire to help others get more out of life. And I get that. But they should work on themselves first. And everybody should work on themselves first. I never taught a motivational seminar or teach. I didn't teach anything until I made like over $15 billion. I mean, I wrote the book Natural Cures because my health was so superior. I went in and got, $30,000 worth of blood work done, an MRI on my brain, CAT scan on my heart and my lungs, had my colon checked out, CAT scan on my internal organs, had every hormone test done in the world. I had hair analysis done for mineral concentration, had my, of course, urine tests. I had the fecal tests. I had skin tests. I had every test you could, and I paid for all this stuff. Every test that's known to man, and they said, they would look at this and go, your lungs are so clear. Your arteries have like no calcification. It's impossible. This is like an 18-year-old. As a matter of fact, when they did autopsies on 18-year-olds from Vietnam, they had 40, 50% calcification. You got like 1%. That's insane. Your blood pressure is 120 over 80, like every single time. I mean, she goes, it's 121 over 80 today. And I laughed. I go, the machine's not working right. And we both giggled. Look. That's when I wrote the book Natural Cures. When you talk about bliss, happiness, and joy, most people are really not blissful, happy, or joyful. They go through life and they don't know how to handle adversity. I'm giving you a technique that can help you in every aspect of your life. Not just because I read about it in a book, but I've been practicing it since the late 60s when I first known about this. And I can tell you from personal experience and all the people that I know who have done these techniques, the value and the benefits are quantifiable. They absolutely work 100% of the time. And somebody will always say, well, Kevin, I met a guy who meditated for 20 years and I don't think he's doing very well. I go, you should have met him before he started meditating. Because this guy's like 1,000% better. He's still got a long way to go. But man, you should have saw him when I knew him. He's a mess. He's still a mess, but he's less of a mess than he was then. Imagine if he didn't, probably kill himself. So that's the technique on meditating, and it's not guided visualization. And for those people that are out there saying that a guided visualization is a guided meditation, they're sharing what they don't know about the actual technique or the history of this. Because they just read about things in a book and they just have an idea of what is going to sound good with the pretty music. They don't even know the frequencies of the music they're putting in. They don't know the ratios between this tone and what it does to the brain, because they haven't done the research. They haven't invested the millions of dollars like I've done in brain research by testing things, putting all the brain stuff on, doing brain scans to see what part of the brain lights up when you hit this tone. When I tell somebody to do this in a guided visualization, What happens to your brain? I wouldn't want to risk somebody who is well-intentioned giving me a guided visualization that they made in their basement on their iPhone without doing any testing on it. How do they know it's even doing something positive? Do you realize a lot of this stuff could be doing stuff that's negative to your brain and negative to the field? I've seen it. I've seen these guided visualizations CDs back in the day when I was doing the research. There were CDs. And I would go in and go, let's play this, see what happens to the test subject. Holy Christmas, this is bad. I mean, and I know the person who did this particular one, and his intention was 100% pure. He just didn't know. He thought he was doing a good thing, but he didn't understand. He didn't have the depth of knowledge. He read a few books, went to a few seminars, and then tries to sell CDs on guided visualization, and they sound pretty. You know, and he's putting people down basically by a creek, and there's birds. Okay, well, basically, it puts the person into a spiral downward. It's not raising the vibration. It was doing the exact opposite. So I would encourage you, number one, if you want more information on this, you could read that book, Strength and Stillness, The Power of Transcendental Meditation by Barbara Roth. Use this technique. I will be doing more information and more seminars on meditation. Matter of fact, at our upcoming Global Information Network events, I'm going to go into depth about this, answer all the questions. We'll do it as a group as well, because there is power when you're doing it with more than one person. It's kind of like HARP. Some people don't know what that is, but it's a military facility with radio transmitters, satellite radio transmitters, and they're all lined up. I don't know how many there are. Maybe there's 100. When you take one radio transmitter and beam it, it has a certain amount of energy. When you put two together and you beam on the same frequency, there's a geometric effect. 1 + 1 = 3. It's not twice the power. It's like 3 times the power. And every time you add one and you turn it on, the energy, and there's an argument even how this works. The physicists know that it works, but why and how it works is is still mysterious. So the point is, frequency energy increases exponentially. So when you're in a room with other people that are meditating, the benefits are exponentially better. So consider meditating. Kevin Trudeau, guru. Now, I'm not going to get to how to be happy today, just so you know. I'll be talking about that next week. All right, before I go on to the greatest kept money-making secret of all time. And by the way, if you like the bit on meditation, leave a comment in the comment section. Remember, the algorithm says if you also comment on somebody else's comment, that even works better. A lot of you want to share that segment with others. So before I talk about the greatest kept money-making secret of all time, I am going to give you my movie recommendation. Everybody's favorite part of the show. Can we put up, by the way, the movies that I've recommended so far on this show? We have a list. I put it up last week, but we have a list of all the movies that I've recommended since I started doing this show. Here we go. This list, William, is this list on the KevinTrudeauFanClub.com website? Okay. So this list is available at the KevinTrudeauFanClub.com website. So you can check out this list. Since I started doing this show, I've recommended movies. Godzilla -1, Kung Fu Panda. And there is a reason why I've recommended these movies. These movies contain secrets to success. They are there in many, many forms. So there's a reason people are really liking these movies. I would encourage you to watch these movies. Some of them are for the whole family. Some of them are adult movies. Watch them and then comment in the section about the movies so that others know they can, see what you think about some of the movies. All right, so you can pull that off the air now. We'll come back to me. And we'll put up the fan club KevinTrudeauFanClub.com website there if you want to. So in case people want to go there, because that's the entire list. But I'm going to give you 2 movie recommendations today. Really good movies. And we're going to ask our illustrious team here that's sitting, who never know anything. When I ask them, they never know anything. And it's always like a mannequin convention. When I look at them, they just like... So I'm going to ask you guys, by a show of hands, have any of you here, sitting here, and Trey's hiding behind, there he is. Have any of you seen the movie Apollo 13? Oh my God, I picked the wrong movie. I got 4 out of 5. All right, so the first movie is Apollo 13. And the reason I selected this movie, besides it being a very good movie, it is based on a true story. Apollo 13 is based on an Apollo mission. American astronauts were going to the moon. And I'm not sure how many times they've been to the moon. By the way, for those of you who think we didn't go to the moon, yeah, we went to the moon. Okay. So, I mean, have you ever been to Cape Canaveral and watched the rocket go up in the sky? I mean, it's easy enough to track. It goes to the moon. Okay, it's like you can see it. I mean, it went to the moon. All right. But Stanley Kubrick says he recorded it in the back of the thing. Well, that's another story about whether some bits were put there. But the fact is, they went to the moon. All right. So it's based on a true story about a real bunch of astronauts. These are real guys. Not actors. These were real astronauts back in the day. And they got on a real rocket. And by the way, this stuff really happens. It really left the ground and it went into space. But it's based on a true story because, and so the reason why I want you to watch it is, it was a disaster. And if you watch this, there's a couple critical elements. The expert pilot is the number 1 pilot who's going to be on the ship going to the moon. There's a backup pilot, but the backup pilot nobody likes. They're skeptical of his skill. They like the number 1 pilot, and they're thrilled that this ace is going to be piloting the spacecraft. But they test everybody's blood work, and the number 1 pilot has some antibodies for the flu. So they pull him off. You're not going to the moon. The number 2 guy's going in. All the other astronauts are really nervous. They're going, we got the second stringer. I don't like this. They go out into space. The number 1 pilot never comes down with the flu. The number 2 pilot in the capsule comes down with the flu. A disaster happens, and these guys are going to die. But because the universe kept the number 1 pilot on the ground, he went into the capsule and figured out a way to get those men home. It is a miracle on so many levels. You watch this movie and you will be inspired to know that the universe will always do things for you. It doesn't do things to you. It does things for you. And it knows better than you do what's best for you. So you can watch this movie. And there's another element. The ability to not just overcome adversity, but figure it out. Turn the impossible into the possible. And there's a great scene where the engineers are sitting there and the commander comes in with a box of what looks like junk, throws it on the table and goes, this is all they have up there. With this, figure out how to make an air connector. And the engineer's going, well, we can't do it with just this. No, you will do it. Because if you don't, they die. And these engineers are looking at this stuff going, it's impossible. And they walk in, we figured it out. And they came up with something to save those guys. It's a good movie. So Apollo 13, and I do believe this is fun for the whole family. I don't think there's nudity in it or cursing or swearing, and I think everybody can watch it. And again, you can encourage your kids, or if you're watching it with a spouse or a lover or whatever, or a bunch of guys or a bunch of girls watching it, it is a good movie. All right. Next, I'm going to ask the crew again. My next movie recommendation is definitely fun for the whole family because it came out as a family movie. It is a great movie. I don't care if you're 70 years old or 7 years old. It is a spectacular movie, and it also is filled with the secrets of success. They're right there. The movie is called Chitty Chitty Chitty. Am I saying that right? I'm not getting X-rated here, right? Chitty. Chitty. Stop it. Stop it. Stop laughing. Chitty Chitty. Okay, do you know I started when I was a kid and I had a lisp? Some people don't know that. Because when I was in high school, it was like, I want to tell you what I could do. And I lisped. Hi, I think I can be a speaker. Honest to God. That's when somebody said, you should speak on stage. Speak? Are you nuts? Anyway, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang is the movie. There it is. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Filled with success principles, fun for the whole family. It is a kid's movie. Dick Van Dyke, G-rated, and it gives you secrets of success. And it is fun if you haven't seen it. Has anybody here seen Chitty Chitty Bang Bang? I got one. And he's from Poland. Is that the only movie they showed in Poland when you lived there, right? Was it in Polish? Did they translate it? Was it English? It was in English. But you saw it in Poland, right?
Yeah, no, I saw it here in grade school.
Oh, you saw it in grade school. You were forced to see it.
I was forced to see it.
Okay, you was forced to see it. Okay. So by the way, I was mentioning that when I was a kid, we called Polish people Polacks. Is that a derogatory term?
They say it is.
They say it is.
But it literally means Polish.
It means Polish. Okay. Okay. We're not going to say anything else about that. All right, another time. All right, so those are my movie recommendations, and that was Kevin Trudeau, movie critic. Thanks for watching. Watch the movies. Comment often. Tell your friends. All right, what am I now? Who am I now? What am I now? How much time we got left? Oh, God help us. All right. Can you see why I'm being forced to do more than one show a week now? I mean, I got like a pile of stuff that I want to talk about. I just not going to get to it. Okay. I do want to talk about, here we go. No. World's best mentor. I am now the world's best mentor. See, it says right there, world's best mentor. The greatest kept money-making secret of all time. And you're lucky because I'm going to give you the real Reader's Digest version. And you don't know what that is still, but I will give you a short summary. I will expound later because I got a couple things I want to show you. And I want to give away a few things. The greatest kept money-making secret of all time is if you look at anybody and everybody who makes money. Now let's define this first off. Because if you have $1 million in net worth, you're called a millionaire. That means nothing. A millionaire started as an amazing level of success back in the early 1900s. So in 1910, if you were a millionaire, in today's money, that means you had over $100 million in assets. That's what you were worth. So a millionaire today means nothing. So it starts at $100 million. So unless you have or have had $100 million in assets. And back in those days, it was in cash. It wasn't in real estate and stocks that you couldn't sell. It was in cash money. It was in cash, 100 million in cash. And a person was earning back then between 8 and 10% dividends or interest a year on that money. So in today's world, let me put this in perspective. Somebody has $100 million, and that money, they don't have to work a day in their life. That money earns them approximately $1 million a month. So just imagine that you don't work. You don't have a business or a job, you do nothing. But every month, $1 million is deposited into your bank account. And it will be for the rest of your life. Okay, you got to pay taxes on it. But can you live? I mean, you might struggle a little, I suppose, right? That's wealth. And that's really where it starts. It's having complete financial freedom and independence. You don't have to work a day in your life, and you're making about $1 million a month. Your money and assets are paying you, and you don't have to go to a board meeting. You don't have to do any consulting. You don't have to make a phone call. You don't have to do anything. You are 100% financially independent. That's what financial independence and freedom means. You don't have to do anything, and the money just keeps pouring in and pouring in and pouring in. And I'll tell you, when you start, in the days before apps, phone apps and everything, now you can check the bank balance. Back in my day, I'd always call my banker, no matter where I was in the world. How much money was deposited into my account today? $87,500 today, Mr. Trudeau. That was a good day, thank you very much. The next day I'd call, how much was deposited into my account today? Today was $24,000, thank you very much. And I would call every day and he would tell me how much money was deposited into my account. And no matter where I was in the world, back then you had American Express offices, I would say, I happen to be in Bellagio in Italy right now, and I'd like to get some money. My pleasure, sir. How much would you like? We'll send it to the American Express office. Let me find one for you, and I'll call you back, and you go there and you get the money. I mean, it was a different world. Today it's even easier. But that's financial freedom and independence, being able to just do whatever you want, be able to pay for it, and have money just pouring in without you doing anything. If you look at all the people today that are in that category, that's real money. What is the one thing that's different with them compared to everybody else? There's one thing, by the way. There's one. Did I tell you? There's one? There's only one. Is there two? No, there's one. There's one difference. There's one thing that they all have versus everybody else. That one thing is they're all a member of a private association, secret society, or private club or private group. Every single one of them. Being part of either, let's call it Skull and Bones at Yale University, or a member of the Harvard Alumni Club, a lot of billionaires in that, or a member of some of the other secret societies or groups that have been very powerful, such as Freemasons. Some of them are members of just very exclusive country clubs or other groups or associations. There's a group called YPO, Young Presidents Organization. There's a lot of groups. Every one of these people are part of a group of like-minded people, which means they're motivated, they're successful, they're enthusiastic, they're positive, they're big dreamers, they are creators, they're manifestors. And when you get that group together, just like I talked about earlier in the meditation segment, you have a exponential effect of power. What this does, it does something very specific to the brain. Just the other day, I was watching a very good video, and I'm going to get more data on it, because this is what I've known. Quite frankly, I was shocked that there's actual real research done on this today, because this is one of the secrets that we knew for a long time. It's the hippocampus in the brain is small in poor people and it's big in rich people. It basically creates a vibration and frequency that attracts money into your life. In all wealthy families, in all testing, that part of the brain is bigger in the offspring in wealthy families and smaller in poor communities and poor families. It's not racial. It has to do with how much money you're making. And this is a biological thing. We know with brain testing, the biology of the brain, such as the pineal gland and the hippocampus and others, affect the vibrational frequency that you can put out. This is why when somebody is trying to use the law of attraction and they're trying to visualize their goals and feeling now as if they were in attainment of those goals and putting out that vibration, some people get results and some people don't. Those who don't get results, if you just look in the brain, the hippocampus is very small. So they can't broadcast properly. They have too much counter-intention frequency going against them. Those that do manifest, it's very large. And so the question is, how does it get large? If you have it small, can it get bigger? Yes. Yes. That's what the money processes are all about. That's what the training that's in part of the Global Information Network, the Success Mastery course. And that's why I put together the Global Information Network. You know what the number one fastest way to make that grow and get faster is associating with other like-minded people. That's why the Global Information Network was set up, so that people could then, for the first time, start associating with others, and that synergistic effect at major weekend functions or day functions or just group masterminds when they're on a Zoom call together or just calling each other. That interaction with other like-minded people helps it grow, which is why it's always large in wealthy families, because they're always interacted and they're connected on a DNA level. When you're a member of our club, you get connected by going through an induction ceremony with the other members. And this helps that grow. This is the number one thing that can help that grow, which can help you manifest goals, dreams, and desires in your life. And then doing the money processes obviously blows out all those charges. And this is why when people left the money process, they're walking into walls. If I were to test them, the size of their that part of the brain is going to go up dramatically. It would go up dramatically. So, and this is why when we do the money processes, and there's the email address if you want more information, just write moneyprocesses@kevintrudeau.com. But this is why when people come into Chicago to do the money processes, I take everybody to dinner. So that night, after the money process, I take them all to dinner. This way I can put my frequency energy into the whole group. And this is the magic. This is now scientifically proven to be true. So I'm going to do something here. The club that I formed, and as you know, look, I don't have any sponsors yet on this show. We're just blowing through money, and when people make donations to the fan club, when people do anything, we pay for the expenses here, and then after that, all the money goes to the Federal Trade Commission for my legal issues. So I'm going to do something here that's going to help you dramatically. We have a couple events coming up. We have one coming up in Beverly Hills, California this summer. It's for our level 5 members or above. I'm going to allow you, if you are not a member of the Global Information Network, if you join the Global Information Network and you upgrade to level 5, I'll give you a free ticket. I'll let you use the free event ticket for that event in Beverly Hills. And I'm going to show you a video in a second. The second option is you can come to Chicago this fall, and you can come to that absolutely free. All you have to do is join the Global Information Network. You don't have to go to level 5. You can just join the Global Information Network, and we'll give you a free event ticket for Chicago's weekend event. And these are powerful. Now, we have a summer conference video So let's show that now, just to give you a little taste of what you can get absolutely free.
For the Global Information Network's Level 5 and Above exclusive Summer Conference 2024. This year, we are taking you to where Jen has never gone before. A brand new and ultra exclusive destination for the elites all across the world. Somewhere with a global reputation for its celebrity residents and guests. The hub for the wealthy in the West Coast. Referred to as the stage of the world. Beverly Hills, California. This year's summer conference will be held at the luxurious and iconic Beverly Wilshire Hotel in Beverly Hills, California. Only 30 minutes away from the famous Santa Monica Pier and Venice Beach. And even closer to the iconic Dolby Theater and Hollywood Boulevard's iconic Walk of Fame. You can feel the history. It's almost 100 years of legendary people, memories, and iconic events. The Beatles holding a press conference in the Champagne Room. Fans sending love notes up to Elvis's suite. This hotel proudly welcomed the Hollywood's elite for nearly a century, and it's located in a prime position overlooking the world-famous Rodeo Drive, home to more than 100 of the world's luxury brands, world-class art, and Michelin-starred restaurants, all housed in exemplary architect-designed boutiques along its palm tree-lined blocks. This location is one of the best in the world for shopping, and of course, expanding yourself as you dream bigger. As you enter the majestic gate inspired by Buckingham Palace, you're welcomed with the finest attention to detail. Gas lamps from Edinburgh and a cobblestone driveway with stone imported from Italy. You'll be received by the smiling faces of your welcoming gin brothers and sisters. You may even just run into a few famous faces, as Hollywood's rich and famous frequently grace its halls every day. And you may even recognize this hotel from the famous movie, Pretty Woman.
Wow. Welcome to Hollywood. Everybody comes to Hollywood, got a dream. What's your dream?
Miss Vivian, one more time. Dinner napkin.
Dinner napkin. Gently relax.
Good. I go off the table.
Get privy to exclusive training available to only members at level 5 and above. This could be your event. The event that is the key to unlock all you've been dreaming of. See you there at the Beverly Wilshire Hotel in Beverly Hills, California.
Welcome back. I'll tell you what, it's going to be amazing. If you're not a member of the Global Information Network, consider it. If you join the Global Information Network, you get a free, all expense paid ticket to the event of your choice. You can go to the summer conference. You can go to the one coming up in the fall. And I can't tell, I want to say who we've just been talking to today. One of the greatest American success stories of all time, somebody who is one of the biggest movie stars of all time. He became governor of a state. There's a good chance he'll be speaking at our event. It's something you don't want to miss. So if you're not a member of the Global Information Network, really consider joining. If you do have goals, dreams, and desires, this could be an organization that gives you everything you need. It not only gives you the training and the courses, the Success Mastery course, the Science of Personal Mastery course, but most importantly, it gives you the ability to increase the size of your hippocampus, which is the one secret difference between wealthy people and those who aren't. And you're doing things. There's a whole list of things you do every day that's making it get smaller. That's why we call them failure habits. Success people have success habits which make it get bigger. But it's also in their DNA. But if you don't come from a wealthy lineage, what are you going to do? Being part of a group is the number one singular most important thing you can do, as well as the money process to increase the size. But I'm going to give you something else for free. I'm going to really encourage you to join. Look, I know this stuff. It doesn't matter to me if you join or not, because quite frankly, if you join or if you don't join, it doesn't change my lifestyle. And it doesn't change my inner state of joy and happiness. But it will change yours. Think about it. If you don't join, what are you going to do? Nothing's going to change in your life. If you do join, at least you have a chance of getting better. So I'm going to sweeten it even more. If you join the Global Information Network, not only are you going to get a ticket to your choice, either this summer conference in Beverly Hills or the fall conference with me, 3 days in Chicago, I'm also going to give you a 5-night, 6-day luxury cruise on the Norwegian Cruise Line magnificent ship, the Pearl. We at GIN have taken over the entire ship for an entire week. Over 2,500 GIN members are going to be on that ship. Only GIN members. We own the ship for the entire week. I'm going to give you a ticket on that cruise, all expense paid. It's a $10,000 ticket. Meals, your rooms, all the meetings, all the activities, all expense paid. Absolutely free. All you have to do is become a member of the Global Information Network, become a level 1 member. That's it. And you get it for free. And it is selling out quick because members are booking their tickets. People are joining our club every day and registering. And there's obviously a limited number of cabins. I want to show you a little video here to let you know what to expect. But before I do, there are things that I can do on this ship that you can't do anywhere else because of the fact that you're on a ship with only GIN members. We see when we have events at hotels, there are other people in the hotel. There's other people all around the hotel. So the energy is different. It's spectacular. But on the ship, we have only our members. There's no counterintention energy. So the bubble of frequency that's on there is unique compared to anything else we do. Then when you get into open sea, where you have salt water all around, salt water has been used throughout for thousands and thousands of years to ward off evil spirits. Well, what it really means is to basically reduce negative frequency, low vibration frequency. That's what salt water does. You call them evil spirits because low vibration frequencies create bad things in your life. So when you're surrounded by the sea, on the ship, in this bubble of frequency, it's like nothing else that can be duplicated. I can then do energetic work and on you that I can't do anywhere else. And the increase in your frequency, your attractive power, your manifesting power, your creative power goes up exponentially and stays with you. It's like nothing else. So let me show you this video. You can come on this with me absolutely free. Let's take a look at this.
Closely held secrets of manifesting goals, dreams, and desires.
This is the
were
cruise
methodically
promotional
taught
video.
to the participants.
Guys, we get the cruise promotional
Go way
video.
beyond anything taught by the many so-called success gurus that have flooded the internet. They go far beyond anything taught in hundreds of success books.
Oh, we had it for a second. We'll get it, guys. We'll get it. I'm glad they rehearsed. How's it coming? We may find it.
We're getting it. There's something else playing in the background that we have to get rid of.
Okay, so they're fixing it right now. So let me just tell you about this again. The Global Information Network is something you should consider joining. You're going to get two things when you join. When you join the club, you instantly get a free ticket to a major event. So you can come to the summer conference, but you have to upgrade to level 5. Or if you don't want to do that, just by joining, you automatically get a free ticket to the event in Chicago. And again, one of the speakers might be this major celebrity who was a governor, who's one of the greatest success stories of all time. And I got all these other people there. In addition to that, you also get a free ticket on this cruise. But it's first come, first served, limited time. So if you're considering it, and hopefully you understand the benefits now of being a member of an organization. So check out this video now.
Stands on golden sands and watches the ships that go sailing somewhere beyond the sea. He's there watching for me. If I could fly like birds on high, then straight to her arms I'd go sailing. Beyond the star, it's near beyond the moon. I know beyond a doubt my heart will lead me there soon. Beyond the shore, we'll kiss just as before. Happy we'll be beyond the sea, and never again I'll go sail. I know beyond a doubt my heart will lead me there soon. We'll meet, I know we'll meet beyond the shore. We'll kiss just as before. Happy we'll be beyond the sea, and never again I'll go sailing. No more sailing. So long sailing.
All you got to do is, well, that's an interesting picture. There we go. All you got to do is go to globalinformationnetwork.com, globalinformationnetwork.com, sign up, become a member. You get assigned a member support coach who will reach out to you, help you navigate the website, make sure you get all the success training in our core training, the Success Master Course, the Science of Personal Master Course. But look, the greatest kept money-making secret of all time is something you can't read about in any book. You find a book that talks about the hippocampus. Talk about a book that mentions that all successful people did one thing. And those who didn't come from multi-families like Andrew Carnegie and so forth, Henry Ford, they didn't come from multi-families. But later, their brain changed. What changed it? There's a lot of things that can change it, but the two most powerful things that will change it is associating with other like-minded people and being part of a fraternal or organization, that you're connected with other people. This happens in a wealthy family, but if you're not in a wealthy family and you don't have those DNA connections, you have to be part of a group. And what group are you going to join? The Global Information Network is unlike anything else. So I'm really going to encourage you. And like I said, it doesn't change my lifestyle. I could care less if you join or not. Because guess what? I live a magnificent life. Regardless of what the external conditions are, my life is wonderful, delicious, and magnificent. And I go to bed every night thinking, I love my life. I love it. Every day. No matter where I am in the world, no matter what the external conditions are. And when I wake up in the morning, I wake up thinking, I love my life. You can experience this too. not just experience it, but this is a state that you can be anchored in and live every day. And when you want to manifest something, you can focus your mind, control it, and manifest it. Because the brain has been changed to broadcast that frequency like a laser beam, so you can. And right now, I can tell you, if I would look at your brain and we would do a brain scan and say, look, here's the size versus someone else of the hippocampus. You can look at this, and let's look at the pineal gland and see if it's active or not. You can see it and go, look, you have an engine in your car that's like a sewing machine. You can't drive very fast. And if you have a sewing machine engine in a plane, try to take off and fly. You can't. You need to increase the power. So what that means is you need to increase your broadcasting frequency power. And when you do, then when you apply the technique of visualization and feeling now as if you were in, what's in Napoleon Hill's books or so forth, then it creates results. So the two most powerful things that you need are to be part of that association and really engage in it. And secondly, the money processes, which get rid of all the counter-intention blocks, which are keeping, remember I told you before, you've heard me say it, those who are in wealthy families don't have them. So it allows that part of the brain to grow. With those blocks, it's going to be slower and harder. It's going to feel like you're swimming upstream. Not that you can't manifest things, but you're going to be swimming upstream. So now hopefully you understand and you can say, it's not my fault. Now I get it. Now I understand. And you have the power. You have everything you need to change your situation and create the life you want. Remember, most importantly, that you are love and light. God dwells within you as you. Remember who you really are. Increase your awareness of your beauty, your magnificence, and your greatness. You were born to win. You were engineered for success. You were designed for accomplishment. And you were, by our Creator, endowed with the seeds of magnificence and greatness. God loves you. The universe loves you. And so do I. Until next week, I'm Kevin Trudeau. I will see you at the top. And remember, don't let anyone steal your dream. Much love.